the MEC of Gauteng, that is Uhuru Moiloa. Now, MEC, I wanted to just give some background there that there's a huge backlog in the province. Unfortunately, just due to some technical challenges there, we're not able to get to that lineup. However, welcome to the news. Let's talk about the backlog in the housing department.
Well, Gauteng is a catchment area for South Africans who are looking for economic opportunities. Others come here for education, they come for all sorts of interest. And as a consequence, you would have an increased number of people that need shelter over their heads. But families are growing every day. Somebody is graduating from a youth into an adult, and somebody is getting married every day, all right? So you have continuing demand for human settlement. And that is the reason why the provincial government, under the leadership of Premier Makhura, is opting for other policy options of making land available, service the land, put people on land, let people develop themselves, help those that cannot help themselves with government, what we call reconstruction and development program housing, but also have a mixture of other options such as rental, have other options such as subsidy, individual subsidy linked, social housing, and so on, so that you have a combination of products that can address the needs of the market, because the market is not necessarily having the same taste, so you've got to have different products for different people. In that sense.
One of the things that we have witnessed in Gauteng has been protests, and more protests. And all this are centering around service delivery, which goes very much in the human settlement division, but also housing. I mean, last week, Bara in Diepkloof was blockaded. Freedom Park, I mean, a week or two ago, you were with the Premier in Eldorado Park to try and even address that.
Yeah, no, definitely. These expectations are justified. The people of South Africa, in particular, the majority of people in this country who are black, African, colored, in particular, are victims of the apartheid system. And the legacy of apartheid is not about to go away anytime soon. We have to deal with the expectations of these masses of the people with regard to what freedom actually means for them. What does freedom mean for someone who sleeps under the bridge in the freeways of Johannesburg? What is the meaning of freedom for someone who sleeps on the pavement in the cold winter in the pavements of Johannesburg? What does freedom mean for someone who stays in a shack, has got children, they're sleeping in a small place with children? This is dehumanizing. These demands are not unjustified. However, we're saying to our people, let's work together because this government is for you. You have elected this government. It is part of your partnership to work with this government in order to find lasting solutions. So there are no shortcuts of addressing the problem. It's a long-standing problem. It's a legacy of a system that was established many years ago. We are not going to solve it in one summer. We've got to work together with the people to find sustainable solutions. And that's why we say rapid land release program for those that want the land should actually be embarked upon so that we can, in a way, contribute towards a rapid resolution of the problems. Not all of it, though.
This is where I wanted to get to. I mean, the visuals that we're showing you there are people, some of them who are saying, all we need is land. What is the program in as far as land redistribution is concerned from the Gauteng government?
There's been land hunger in this country from the 18th of June 1913, when the apartheid system put people out of the land. So there's been a struggle for land from 1913 on the 18th of June. This is not a new struggle. It's a continuation of a hunger for land. And people are saying, if I heard and listened at the people of Johannesburg Deep South, they are actually saying, make land available for us, give us the services, we'll do the rest. Now, this is the new spirit that I am cultivating and I am embracing, because I think that this culture of government must do everything for us is not sustainable. People need to be given responsibility as well to do things for themselves. And I think if we enter into partnership with the people, definitely what has been a challenge, a problem for government, may actually be seen later to be a wise decision for government to say to people, well, we want to do something for those that cannot help themselves, but hey, you who can do something for yourself, what is it that we can do together? And I guess that government will begin to learn that, in fact, there's energy out there from our people to do things for themselves. And I think we just need to unlock that potential so that people become real partners with the government that they've elected.
The EFF and BLF are among the organizations that have said, occupy whatever land that you see.
That is an irresponsible act. In fact, that's very populist kind of a call, if one can say. It's dehumanizing to drive people into a land in an urban center such as Gauteng, where there are no basic services. There's no sanitation, there's no water there, there's no clinic. It's dehumanizing. It's actually using the desperate situation of very vulnerable people for your own political expediency. And I'm saying to South Africans, including those political parties you have mentioned, their names, that it's simply not on, that you can call on people to occupy the land that way. It is illegal, it's unacceptable. We do not want to build the future South Africa that will be squalor, that will be a South Africa, constituted by squatter camps. That's not what we want for South Africa. We want to change the facade of the apartheid past so that we build modern cities where future generations, when they live in this land, they can say that there was once a generation that defeated apartheid, and they embarked on a reconstruction and development program post-apartheid, and we are inheriting a beautiful country that is called South Africa. It cannot be inheritance of squatter camps. So such calls are very irresponsible, and I think South Africans should unite against such call, because it simply is not palatable with the kind of South Africa that we're fighting for. No one is saying that the land should not be made available to the people. The Premier of Gauteng is very clear. The President of the Republic is supporting the call from Gauteng in particular that we should make the land available. We should service the land and then put people on land for those that can build themselves houses, and those that cannot build houses for themselves. Obviously, the Constitution of the Republic says that the state should help those people to have houses because it's a basic human right. So it is an irresponsible call for anyone to call for people to occupy the land without services.
I'll always speak for the church. Churches out there don't have land to build centers of worship or religious groupings for that matter. What is government doing to ensure that we see an end to under tree congregations or classroom hiring congregations?
The mega human settlement that the Premier of the province is very vigorously driving, through myself, of course, as a MEC of Human Settlement, is intended to integrate all the needs of society. Where you put up human beings, there has to be all amenities, including places of worship. So it's an integrated approach that basically says, let's drive as much number of people as we can with different cultural practices and expectations, religious expectations, so that we have a community. So we are moving away from building houses into building communities. And catering for religious communities is going to be one of such. There is no mega human settlement, a new city that will be constructed without taking into account how many people of worship would also need a place to worship, right? So this is going to be a way forward with regard to the establishment of the new cities in Gauteng. It's my pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
The MEC for Human Settlement here in Gauteng, MEC Uhuru Moiloa.